Ted, sit in. Okay. Press and it.
Let's do it.
Are we on? Yep. We are. The press and Event Beach Current were notified of this meeting. Copy of same was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and on the municipal website. Excuse me. The meeting come to order. Would you please stand for the flag salute? Attention salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry, guys.
Tom, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Becker.
Here.
Mr. Blumberg.
Here.
Ms. Talby.
Here.
Before we begin this meeting, we have a very pleasant thing to do, and that is a swearing in of our newest firefighter. His name is Ted Gogol. Ted, will you come up, please? Where are we going, Tony? Over there?
Wherever you want to be.
Wherever you want to be.
Up by the flag.
Come on up.
Ted. Here. You don't get on stage yet. That's when you become chief.
Not yet.
When it stumbles up, when you do it.
Okay.
You go on stage when you become chief.
So you should stand up there.
Go for the word. Ted is our newest addition in the professional firefighter staff of Margate Fire Department. Ted grew up in Summers Point and is known by friends as a diligent worker and an excellent athlete. That's good. Ted was a star football player in high school for the Mainland Mustangs. He quarterbacked his team to numerous championships. He continued his career in football at Wagner. He majored in business administration, earning a Bachelor of Science degree. Being mentored by his grandfather, Ted Gogol, a U.S. Marine in World War II, Ted has a strong work ethic that's evident in his passion to pursue his career as a firefighter. He is a son of proud parents, Ted and Felicia. They have your age now. Ted is 33 years old, a union carpenter, a licensed building inspector, and a New Jersey state licensed barber. Welcome, Ted. We wish you a long and prosperous career. Thank you very much. Now, take the oath. Two quick comments before we give you the oath. Number one, Ted worked for us in the building department last year with nothing but plaudits, all kinds of good things, Ted. We heard nothing good for you. And number two, I'm never going to need you as a barber. Repeat after me, please. I, Theodore Gogol,
I, Theodore Gogol,
do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear
do sincerely promise and swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the United States Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform and discharge
and justly perform and discharge
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of firefighter
of the office of firefighter
in the Fire Department of Margate City
in the Fire Department of Margate City
to the best of my ability and understanding,
to the best of my ability and understanding.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Ladies and gentlemen, our new firefighters.
Just real quick, folks, I did want to mention Ted was part of a fire recruit drill school that Atlantic City Fire Department held starting in the spring and ending in July, and about 15 firefighters, and Ted was the top of the class there, and the one guy from Margate. And we're really glad to have him, and if you're wondering how my hair looks so good,
We're not.
it's Ted Gogol. We're glad to have him.
Would you hold up to this and I'll sign it? Okay. Wait, there's a copy.
All right, okay. Great, thank you very much.
Do we do okay, Sean?
That was my favorite part of today.
Barney?
That was my favorite part of today.
We have before us the minutes of our September 4th meetings. What is your pleasure?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes?
I'll second that.
Mr. Becker? Yes. Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Audi?
Yes.
Is there any public comment?
Sewell, 22 West Drive. Mayor, it's always refreshing to have our former Vice President of the Margate Business Association present, for he can attest firsthand to your unscrupulous, unethical, unprincipled character or lack thereof. Mayor, it's common knowledge you're a persistent, pernicious, perennial prevaricator. You totally lack the capacity for veracity and are devoid of a moral compass. Thus, Mayor, I can't give you what you ain't got. Mayor, what you don't have is self-respect. If you can't respect yourself, then how can anyone else respect you? Respect is not granted as a matter of right or office. Instead, you must earn the respect of your fellow man. You don't do this by constantly misusing and abusing your police authority and by violating citizens' civil rights and First Amendment rights. Your malicious, vicious, vindictive, avaricious, and litigious, perverse proclivities are wearing very thin. Mayor, you're far too addled and pixelated to fully appreciate the myriad nuances of the law, whether it be the First Amendment or statutory provisions such as 501c3. Luckily, your solicitor is not so daft and can more fully appreciate your vexing violations of the laws and regulations, both state and federal. Mayor, your solicitor will inform you for a modest fee that you simply can't impose rules that are not uniform and consistent for everyone. You might recall that prior to resuming his role as solicitor, Scott Abbott derisively referred to your 3-minute rule as the Sewell Rule. It's specifically designed to stifle opposing points of view. Were you to impose the rule upon myself and your arch nemesis, the Balabusta, fairly, then all the public would be subject to the same ludicrous constraints. You might even do what Mayor Mike does up the pike in Ventnor City by having a stopwatch set for 5 minutes. And if time permits, individuals may speak briefly a second time as well. Your policy, Mayor, is on the other hand totally arbitrary and capricious. It leaves both you personally and the city liable and vulnerable to federal lawsuit. The solicitor may once again magnanimously...
15 seconds, John.
Yes, it only takes 15 seconds to complete this sentence, Mayor. Hold your knickers in place. The solicitor may magnanimously inform you civil rights violations carry treble damages plus punitive damages. So, Mayor, take your Aricept and get with the program pronto. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for your comments.
Joe Tosi, 7 South Granville. I can't relate to what John said in every way Woody said. Some things will never change with me and the mayor. And a lot of things I don't know what John really just mentioned and whether it's all 100% right. But like I say, some things will never change. But I'm here for 2 reasons. I don't want to get off the reasons. First of all, I'm here about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, I proposed us going on to Channel 2 with the commissioners' meetings. And that was That was agreed on, and I believe about 4 or 5 months before Sandy hit our coast, you had a grant to pay in part or for all of it. I don't know why nobody moved forward with it, but then when Sandy hit, I was told that Fred got overwhelmed with Sandy. But Sandy's a year this month coming up. This is like 2.5 years ago. I thought it would be on Channel 2 by now. So this way, people like myself and a lot of older people, the senior citizens, could watch us on TV and see just what's happening down here. I was just wondering the status of that and whether it's going to happen.
Fred, whatever did happen with Channel 2? Sandy.
Are you requesting me to respond?
Yeah, I would like you to respond.
Okay, I can respond.
The status of that is, we did get hit with a hurricane, and the building where everything was supposed to be installed is now vacant, except for the fire department. Along with that, Ventnor wasn't ready for it either, and I've been in touch with their IT director also. Because of the storm, we're still trying to recover, even though it is almost a year. We're still trying to recover. This building every day is a new adventure for me in here. Quite frankly, I don't have the time to sit down and get that set up. Comcast has been in touch with me. They're still on target for whenever we say go. They still have fiber optic cable to run into City Hall. That's the only place it can go because there's a central location next to it. If we wanted to move it to this location, it would probably cost us a little extra money.
Fred, can I just interject? I guess it still makes sense, even though we're here, to have the central location be over at City Hall, because eventually our meetings are going to be back over there, right, y'all?
Yeah,
So,
that's where I was getting to.
Okay.
I think that whenever the renovations are complete at the City Hall location, that will be, I think one of the plans is to turn it back into the meeting room, and then from there, everything will start to move forward. But for us to invest the money now in all the equipment that we need to put up there and not use it would probably be a waste of time and effort and money. So,
Fred, are we dependent? We're not dependent on Ventnor. If they decide they didn't want to do that, it doesn't
doesn't hurt us
include
at all.
us.
Nope.
So the point with Ventnor was you just wanted to see if they were...
Well, they're a part of the agreement along with Longport, and they're going to have some interjection into how it's going to work, and they'll be able to use it also. But they're in the same boat we are. They're trying to get their municipal complexes back up and running. So I was expecting them to pressure me to get it done, but instead, we're both looking at the same thing here, so.
Can we make it a goal, maybe by, to be able to do it for when we get back in City Hall?
Listen, for me, I would rather see us have that building, something being done to the building before I even decide to call Comcast and ask them to start getting their work together. I mean, if we start working on the building and we have a deadline on when it's going to be complete and when we'll start using it, then I can get Comcast involved and we'll get that fiber run. But I don't believe we ever agreed to show live commission meetings. I don't think that was ever an agreement.
Yeah, I understand that part. But just,
Yeah.
because I watch the ones from Northfield and other places as well.
Yeah.
Some are live, some aren't. I mean, I don't have a problem with not being live.
And that's the whole point. What we were going to do was to tape it,
Correct.
professionally tape it, and that was part of the grant money, which we did get to buy that equipment to tape it. The installation of the head end, which is what it's called, would be on Comcast. That was something that we put into our renewal agreement. That's all on them. The fiber run into the building and that equipment will be all on them. We don't pay for any of that. But like I said, I would have to be there with them the whole time. It's not a 1-hour project, and with everything else that's going on here, I still don't have the time to sit with them every day for however long it's going to take. So I think that once that building starts to get renovated and I see the project has a completion, then I'll start making my calls to Comcast. They're very responsive to me. They were when we moved in here, so I don't foresee them holding us up once we get going.
Fred, can I ask a question?
Sure.
At that point, what sort of a time frame are we talking about to get operational?
I can't give you that answer. If I gave you an answer, I'd be lying.
A guess, an educated guess, a month, 6 months?
2 months.
2 months, okay.
That sounds good. Second thing on my mind, if you just give me a couple more minutes, Historical Association. I went down to Longport and checked out their building, very nice building for their historical stuff. And Atlantic City, I've been Summers Point, I've been to a few different places. And Margate doesn't have a historical building. Now, over the years, I've been one of the big donators to Historical Association. And I can't see why Margate, as proud as our city is, we don't have a building to show our Historical Association's things. I mean, I work with Jules, I work with Patterson, they must be rolling over in their grave right now. And I'm just wondering what's going on, and why don't we have a building?
Tom,
Now, if you want to put something, excuse me, if you want to put something on the referendum, maybe you want to put that on the referendum, as you see somebody wants to buy a building, or do we want to buy a building to house our Historical Association things?
You could talk to your friend, I'm not.
I think Rich can probably best address this if it's okay with him, because he's had several meetings with the library and the Historical Society about moving into City Hall.
That's just pacifying. I'm looking to see us have a place where people from out of town can pull up and drive.
Would you give Mr.
Okay.
Daney his time,
Rich.
please?
It's true. I've spoken to all the commissioners. We've spoken to the I don't know whether you know it or don't know it, but the library is now merged with the Historic Society. The Historic Society is merged with the library, and that's a good thing because they have a lot of expertise with respect to going through all the historic records and being able to display them in some way. They have a great desire to do exactly what you're talking about, and the commissioners have given me the go-ahead to continue to have discussions with the library board. I met with the library president and the library executive director, and there's plans afoot to be able to house them in the Washington Street building when we do rehabilitate that building. And that's where they want to go, and that's where we will be able to accommodate them. It is likely that we'll be able to accommodate them here as well to do some cataloging and so forth behind the scenes on the second floor. But on the first floor of that building over there are tentative plans. Once we design what we need for the court and for the meeting room for the commissioners, to have a significant space for a permanent display, a rotating display, and for it to be open several days a week as opposed to 1 day a week as it was in the past.
Well, I've talked to the library, a few different people there, and they mentioned they're putting a little bit over here, a little bit over there, a little bit. They did mention a couple, 2, 3 rooms upstairs here to me when I talked to them, but it's a little bit everywhere. You know what I'm saying? There's still...
To me, all of the display, is my understanding at this point, so I'm very clear, all of the display will be in that building. It'll be, as I said, a permanent display and a rotating display. Whatever they do in this building will not be a public display. It'll be a much, much larger space than they had in the past to be able to display things, and it's in a historic building. I think it's a great way to use the historic building itself. It's one of the most historic buildings we have in the city. So I think the solution is right in front of us.
I just want to go on the record. Well, you've been a commissioner like 10 years, something like that. Michael, 6. I know Brenda, 2. I just want to go on record as saying, if something doesn't really happen, we don't really get a building for us, on your watch, you lost the Historical Association. I just want to make that, and I went down in the record, so. I've been working with them. In fact, I rent them a building
Joe, I
right now
have to
at a
cut you, Joe.
ridiculous price.
Mr. Sewell's going to get angry with me, so...
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Is there a motion to close public comment?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
All in favor?
Yes.
Ms. Dalby?
Yes.
Is there any public comment on resolutions? Or do we have any second readings today? I don't think we do.
Sewell, 22 West Drive. No, Mayor, contrary to your assertion, I am rather ecstatic to see you blatantly disregard your own rules. It provides concrete evidence if we ever have to go up to the Camden Federal District Court and pursue those treble damages with punitive damages. I would like all your people to violate your own rule. It would certainly warm my heart. Mayor, get your pencil ready. 174, this $20,000 consulting with a Commonwealth of Pennsylvania firm. Now, we have firms from Fort Lee to Sewell's Point to Cape May Point. We can't find an architect here, especially when a local Margate.
He happens to live in Margate and pay taxes in Margate, just so you know that.
Well, that's information that's not on that bare bones statement, City Clerk.
Nor should it be.
Well, maybe it should be, because it's pertinent, Mayor. It's pertinent to see $20,000 spent outside the state, especially when we have architects in this city, such as Cajun, who has from time and time again offered services for free.
This is a landscape architect, Mr. Sewell.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Cajun has done a fair share of landscape architecture, not mention Bob Blumberg.
Not a Lord.
Okay, number 182, Mayor. I assume from what Ed had said during the work session, that is 20 grand for a electric generator and connections there too. 185, new bike lanes. I don't know what's wrong with the old ones, but as the chief has pointed out time and time again, there is insufficient signage to warn pedestrian with those sports baby carriages from utilizing that area. It's extremely dangerous. And number 186, Mayor, pedestrian signs. They should be the pedestrian signs that can be activated so people can cross the 4-lane highway on Atlantic Avenue. I've watched time and time again where people nearly getting killed with 3-lane stop. People are walking across, and the 4th lane, the guy has no idea why the cars are stopped, and he nearly hits the pedestrians. 187, Mayor, contrary to the solicitor's position, spending $5 grand to review the employee's manual and handbook. Dare I say, Mayor, that online, Nexus Lexus, and a host of other sources have model employee handbooks already there, free for the taking. In fact, if you call up the city of Philadelphia with its terrific city charter, they have an employee handbook that would choke a horse. Same thing for the Big Apple, New York City. Why reinvent the wheel, and why squander another $5 million? And last but not least, Mayor, 188, the labor employee matters. How much are we spending on these labor employee matters year over year over year? You know, it's sort of like the school board where we've quintupled our legal expenditures. What precisely are we getting, and why should we be spending this additional money for labor employee matters when perhaps they shouldn't arise in the first place? And you could preclude these expenditures, Mayor. Are we up to 3 minutes yet, Mayor?
Pardon me?
Are we up to 3 minutes yet?
Way over, John.
Oh, I'll stop then.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Any other comment on resolutions? Is there a motion to close public comment?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
Tom?
And there is a second reading of ordinance 2013-20, and it is a loading zone on Jefferson Avenue, right off of Ventnor Avenue, 25 feet north of the curb line. That's a loading zone, Jefferson Avenue. So if they didn't comment, so now we can vote. You can make a motion to pass that if you desire.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Taube?
Yes.
And then ordinance 21 is introduction only, 2013-14. It's merely changing, as Lisa described earlier, from a dump truck to a surf rake. No change in the dollar amount. Second reading is October 3rd, 5 p.m.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Resolutions 173, authorized payment of claims and payroll.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Resolution 174, awards contract to Chiron Corp., not to exceed $20,000 for landscape architectural consultant
make that
services for the
motion.
I'll
park.
second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Mr. Talby?
Yes.
Change order, Resolution 175 authorizes a change order for Aliana Construction, and I don't see the amount here. Give me 1 second.
That's all
Wait,
right.
175 is
You
Colmar.
have the wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I have the wrong one? Oops. Sorry. All right, 175 is what?
Colmar Home Center.
What's the amount? Do you have it, Jen?
2794.32.
All right, 2009-7432.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Don't fight.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Talby?
Yes.
Okay, 176 approves the Fall Fun Fest parking
I'll
regulation.
make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Talby?
Yes.
170, are we,
Tabling it till next meeting.
77.
both of them? 177 and 178. Okay, 179 rejects bids for the telecommunications facility at the water tank because of a...
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Talby?
Yes.
180 authorizes to go out to bid again for that same...
Make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Talby?
Yes.
And change order 1, resolution 181 for the redevelopment of well 8, a reduction of $28,182.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Talby?
Yes.
182, awards contract to Scalfo Electric for $19,980.
Make that motion.
Second.
Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Talby?
Yes.
183, awards a contract to Pro Construction for $8,940 for concrete curb, gutter, and sidewalk.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Talby?
Yes.
184, establish and adopt a complete streets policy.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Talby?
Yes.
185, approve submission of a grant application to NJDOT for a bikeway grant program.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Talby?
Yes.
186, approve submission of grant application to NJDOT for Safe Streets to Transit program.
Make that motion.
I'll
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Talby?
Yes.
187, award professional service contract to Vanessa James not to exceed $5,000.
I'll make that
I'll
motion.
second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Talby?
Yes.
And 188 extends a professional service contract to Stephen Barcy not to exceed $5,000.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Talby?
Yes.
Is there a motion for adjournment?
No, wait, do we adjourn this meeting and then go to
Oh,
executive
we have
session?
executive session, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Tom?
We need a resolution.
You don't adjourn this, you take the resolution for amenda, or...
We need a resolution to authorize an executive session.
It's 189.
Yeah, 189. Yes, this is Resolution 189, authorizing executive session for pending or anticipated litigation. Scott, do you want to add any more to
I can
that?
explain it, yes. This is anticipation. There is an appeal concerning the DEP approval of the billboard sign. We've been requested by the party plaintiff in that matter as a municipality as to whether or not we would join in on that appeal. I'm not sure about any other governmental entities being requested. We are, and that's why we're going to go into executive session to discuss that and then come out of it and possibly make a decision. Shouldn't take too long.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Talby?
Yes.
Now we have to ask you to leave the room.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So do we need a motion?
To reopen the
We need
regular
a
session.
motion to reconvene the...
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Talby?
Yes.
Okay.
Then we need a motion for a resolution.
All right. I make a motion that we authorize our city solicitor to join in an appeal of the New Jersey DEP for the electronic billboard sign along the causeway.
That's it.
Second that motion.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Talby?
Yes.
That's all we have.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
And I second.
Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Blumberg?
Yes.
Ms. Talby?
Thank you all for being... Oh, there is one.
You're welcome.